Brilliant. So thanks for having me here. I'm Kasper from Momondo. I'm here to tell you about a growth period of 5 years that we've gone through. Basically, I've divided up the presentation in 3 parts, as it's really 3 different periods that we've been going through. First period is from 2012 to 2014, where we, from a digital perspective, were driven by a country management setup that we built in 2013. We then moved on in 2014 and we are a lot of country managers doing a great job on marketing and the digital channels, but we're actually getting so big. So we need more time to really deep dive into what we're doing with our digital investments. This is where we started building up our in-house digital specialist team that I'll go in depth with as well. And finally, I'll give some very specific tips and tricks to how you guys can do, especially search engine marketing, which is about 85% of our digital budget at the moment, where we have a very specific and unique approach to doing it. So starting with the country manager setup and why this really got in place. Well, back in 2011, when I started at Momondo, we were only 12 people in total working for Momondo, and I was the only one doing digital marketing. We had some freelancers, country managers sitting around in different markets. We had one in France, one in Sweden, one in Finland, and it wasn't really working out for us for many reasons. Spending an hour on the phone every week with the guy in France to catch up on what's happening is not really giving him a full perspective of where we want to go as a company. Besides that, when you have people sitting in the markets not really close to the product, it's really hard for them to really understand the product and understand where you want to go with the product. So basically, we weren't able to evolve our product as we would have, for instance, a country manager in France who were very PR orientated. He wouldn't necessarily want to reach out to new partners and make sure that we actually had the product in place before he started to promote our product on PR. So basically, we had a brand that was very differentiated. It would be really strong on PR in France, would be really strong on SEO in Sweden, and really strong on social medias in Finland. But we didn't really have a unique or unified approach to all markets. This really gave us a lot of challenges, because not having the product in place means you don't get the right conversion rates. If your product doesn't convert, you can't build the perfect marketing campaign. It's not going to matter how much money you invest. You're not going to reach your target. Besides, from my point of view, working with digital marketing and building search engine campaigns myself, I couldn't really achieve any goals either, because I could work in Danish. Just looking at Sweden and Norway, well, I couldn't build campaigns, and the country managers couldn't really support me neither. So it was pretty evident that we needed some specialists who knew some local languages as well. So then finally, when things looked worse, and that's not bad at all, we were growing 20% back in 2012. Our current owners, Chief Flights Media, came to us and said, like, hey guys, 20% is not enough. We want to make 100% by 2013. How are we going to get to that point? And me and my CEO, we had to sit down and really start thinking our marketing strategy. So it was pretty evident that we needed a unified brand across all markets, and we needed somebody who could do this for us. We needed somebody who could take responsibility for all channels, not just the digital marketing channels, but take responsibility for SEO, social media, PR, even TV investments, who could work from Copenhagen and own the brand at the same time, so that we would know exactly when is the conversion good enough to actually invest money in a specific market. It's difficult to find an Italian who wants to move to Copenhagen and who can do digital marketing for a not very high price compared to the fact that we were only 12 people at the point in time. So we couldn't really pay really high salaries. So we knew that we had a really big challenge, because we couldn't really find the right people. So what we went to follow instead was actually an intern setup. And I know this sounds ridiculous, because how could you even consider an intern to take responsibility for all channels and invest in digital marketing, where we were, even though we were quite a small company at the time, but in Sweden, for instance, we were investing about 500,000 Danish kroner per month. And that's quite a big responsibility for an intern. Nonetheless, we saw some opportunities in finding interns as well. especially because we knew what was working on search already, and what was working on search back in that time was a very granular setup. It was not just giving our search campaigns to an agency saying, go do your things, and then we would grow 20% for the first year, which would be great. But then when you come to the next year, well, the agency is going to ask you to increase your CPCs to get more traffic. That's fine, but when the ROI doesn't follow, we all know that we're just going to turn down the CPCs again and we're back to basis. So the kind of structure that we wanted to roll out and that we've been tested in Denmark already was a very granular structure where we could actually build every single year for 5 years, keep expanding with more keywords every single year. So we wouldn't have to look at CPCs, but that we could be looking at keyword inventory instead for supporting our growth. And my idea here was that if we take an intern in to teach him this quite complex setup, I actually thought that we could teach an intern equally fast how to build search campaigns in this way as we could with a guy who already knew search. Because sometimes taking someone who knows search or digital marketing, telling them what you know is wrong, start over, it actually takes longer than taking somebody from scratch to tell them how to do it. So, so this became our new aim. And besides that, well, as I said, we're only 12 people. We wanted actually to start up on 10 new markets with this new digital marketing setup. So taking in 10 new interns at a price of 13,500 kroner per month, where you could basically quit the contract on a month-to-month basis if everything would go wrong. There wasn't really a big risk in it. For the same price, we could have gotten two guys who knew online marketing already. So it was kind of a no-brainer that we should try this. So the hard road to success became to find the right candidate. So finding an intern who could teach, or whom we could teach digital marketing, whom we could teach digital marketing the way we wanted to do it at Momondo, required somebody who had a really strong understanding of numbers. Digital marketing in general is all about numbers and statistics. So we went hunting for someone with a financial, economical background, whom we knew would learn digital marketing faster, but whom we expected as well could take a bigger ownership in general of the market as well. Because content management is not only about digital marketing, it's about knowing the top line, the bottom line, the commercial margin. It's about knowing all the channels and what to invest in what channel. It's about controlling the payback times as well. So, so the financial perspective was naturally super important. We wanted to find entrepreneurs as well, just like most of you guys in here and myself, with a drive. Somebody whom we could give a market and say, go do your thing. We weren't a lot of people to manage the new interns, so we needed them to take ownership of the tools and then go do the right thing themselves. We as well went to look for strong leaders, hoping that this would be a really strong setup. We knew that if it would work, our owners would want more, so we would naturally have to get more interns during the years, and we'd need people to manage it. So why not start looking for the leaders straight away? And finally, when you start taking an intern from Italy, from Brazil, from China, move them to Copenhagen, well, they all come here with no family, no friends, and it's really hard to be an expat in Copenhagen. I think we Danish people are not very open. You need to build your own network. So we made a big fuss out of getting extroverts to make sure that we could integrate them, to give them a family inside of Momondo and give them a good reason to stay. Besides that, we knew that if this was going to work, we were going to get a lot of good experiences and good, a lot of really good knowledge in the markets that we needed to share across the markets. So we couldn't have a Swede who wouldn't speak up about the success stories that he had to the other markets. Likewise, when we make mistakes, it's important that you meet by the coffee machine. You tell about your mistakes, and we make sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes in other markets too. So we set up very practically an intern setup of 1 year. The idea was for the first 3 months, the interns would come in and sit on the school bench for the first 4 days, Monday to Thursday. Every Friday we would release them, allow them to build their own campaigns, to spend some money in a sandbox account, and actually start paying back their own salary from the very first day that they worked at Momondo. After the 3 months, we would give them 3 months to build campaigns according to the structure that we had taught them. Of course, supervised by, we were 3 full-time employees at that point in time who did online marketing. We would then released them for 6 months to say, go do your thing. Now you have the tools, go get us some money. To then, after 1 year, evaluate on how much revenue they actually generated. And if they were successful in growing the markets, of course, we would have a full-time position for these guys. The idea was then that we would educate them in digital marketing, so search engine marketing, from the idea that if you know search engine marketing, it's not that difficult to start understanding SEO. In the same way, if you understand search engine marketing, you can start investing in display marketing, you could do social media marketing. You can even move from display into TV. And in that way, you can start taking a full 360 degrees ownership of your market, and not only drive the digital channels, but in fact drive the offline channels and even PR as well. So we ended up, luckily, really positively. After 3 months, actually, we had to look ourselves in the eyes and say, like, fuck, these guys are actually really making a big difference for us. They were paying back their own salary in only 3 months, and that was working 1 day with campaigns per week. So we were actually really afraid of losing them already after 3 months. So we had to offer them all full-time contracts after 6 months. Of course, a very positive challenge. And already after, I think it was 4 or 5 months, we were looking at each other, my CNO and I, and said, like, fuck, what if one of them leaves? Then we don't have anybody to support our growth in Sweden. So already in August 2013, where we started up the interns in January 2013, we had to hire 8 more interns just to make sure that we had 2 guys in our core markets. By December 2013, we took in an additional 6 to start up new markets. So in fact, already in the first year, we ended up being, 24, 25 interns that all of them, besides one, actually got a full-time contract within half a year. So it was a really cool setup. We achieved our 100% revenue growth by the end of 2013 in Q4 as well. It was a bit later than what we hoped for, but the whole training part was just a bit more time-consuming than we thought. We ended up actually building this scalable campaign system across all markets. We're in 32 different markets right now. They all follow the same structure that's very granular that I'll go through a bit later. But this has ensured us that we could grow for the first 2 years in 2013 and 14. And that it's actually ensuring us that we're going to keep growing, not only in the last 2 years, in 15 and 16, but 17, 18, and for the next couple of years ahead still. We opened up 10 new markets, among other, Romania, Ukraine, Australia, and Canada. That is among our really big markets today. And what is really cool is that we have now a really strong country management setup that we can use to train new interns. So where me and a couple of selected guys from Momondo had to do the training in the beginning, we actually have interns to take over the training right now, and it's just a wheel that's rolling, where we're actually getting better and better training each single time. So really positive. We achieved a 100% revenue target. We became a major player. We were sold again in 2014 from Cheap Flights Media to Great Hill Partners. Cheap Flights, our old owner, changed name into Momondo Group, and all of a sudden we became this big player that was investing more than 400 million Danish kroner every single month alone in search and display marketing. So all of a sudden we realized that even though we had 35 country managers to manage all of these digital investments, it was not quite enough because they were engaged in PR, in TV productions, in a display, in probably 10, 15 different channels. And the amount of time that they were investing in search engine marketing and display in particular was becoming less and less, and our investments were getting bigger and bigger. So naturally, when you invest 400 million a year, you start thinking, okay, if I can just tweak ROI by 1%, if I can just get the CPCs down by 1%, it's a huge difference that it makes. So we decided to move on, take the next step, and build an in-house a PPC agency that's handling all of our search, affiliate, display, app, and email activities. And the idea was that we wanted to build up this team in the same way as we did with interns for country managers in the beginning. So basically, we had a strong team who could teach the campaign structures, and we used the old guys to teach the new interns for the PPC specialist team how to follow the structure. But then we took it a bit deeper and made sure that these guys, they only work with search. So we have a team now only specialized in search, a team only for display, a team only for app, and a team that actually does creatives only for search, a team that only does creatives for display. So it's getting very granular already now. Anyways, what we experienced was that we continued our 100% year-on-year growth of digital revenue as well. But what changed was that we didn't invest 100% more year-on-year to achieve this growth. We actually invested 6% less in 2016 to achieve 100% growth, and we're investing equally 6% less this year to achieve 100% growth. And I would say what we did in 2013 was unique, investing 100% more to get 100% more revenue. Normally it doesn't work like that. You invest 100% more and you get 30% more revenue. So what we changed was not only, of course, getting the payback period down from 12 months to I'm just going to jump a bit here, sorry, 12 months to 3 months. But how we did it was actually to start focusing on quality. So we went from just building out on the structure that I told about before, which was a very granular structure that has given us 175 million keywords. That we could, well, this is an old presentation actually, it's about, I would say 8-9 months ago probably, we were at this level. And that was what gave us the growth in the beginning, just adding more keywords, getting more volume. But what changed when we started building the specialist team in 2015 was that we started focusing on quality instead. So not only volume, but quality in regards to CTRs in particular, and what Google's consider good quality. We started up, if you look on the graph on the left-hand side, ad specialist team in 2015. It was basically just 2 students who were writing creatives, looking at what ad groups had the biggest volumes, rewriting the creatives, testing the creatives, and letting the winners stay. We then expanded this team about half a year ago to 1 full-time and 2 students. Now we are 5 guys in the team. And basically what we did is we lifted the click-through rate on search from a little less than 1% to 6% in this quarter. And you can directly see the impact on CTR. The CTR peaked back in 2014, and we're actually down to 2012 levels right now. And we expect to reach a CPC that is lower than 2012 in Q3 this year. So quality is really working for us. It sounds like a boring job, and it probably is for the wrong person just to work with search creatives every single day. But the idea actually comes from Booking.com, who has 40 people just writing search ads, testing them, and that's basically what they do full time. So I expect that we'll get to this point sooner or later as well. Just very quickly on payback times, some of you guys probably noticed that we were purchasing traffic at a negative ROI of minus 40%. It's a quite aggressive acquisition strategy, I would say. But what makes this possible is actually the fact that we have a really cool product. First of all, of course, we're really good at purchasing traffic. We know that 60% of the users we buy every single month will convert within 30 days. Out of the guys that converted, we know that a big percentage or a certain chunk of these guys, they come back within the next 3 months to make this ROI positive case and a payback period of only 3 months. This is of course due to a really cool brand, to a good brand experience, to a cool product as well. But it's as well due to our remarketing activities. We have a small team dedicated only to making remarketing on video, on search, on display as well. And then it's of course having the right tools to monitor this payback period so that we can adjust it every single month according to the payback period that we want. So just digging a bit into this structure that I've been talking about throughout the whole presentation. Sorry, and the complexity of it. So we do things a bit differently. Dividing our brand keywords on search into a separate campaign or into, I think it's actually 20 different campaigns per market. That's not something unique. But just to give you an idea of how important it is, well, currently we're investing 1 million Danish kroner in our brand traffic alone every single month. And that sounds like a lot, but it's actually super cheap. The reason why we're only investing 1 million per month is that we have a full team, or actually it's only one guy, and he's getting some assistance from the creative team as well. But we have one guy only working with brand campaigns. The only thing he's doing is optimizing creatives, testing different site links. It's getting on the phone, knocking on doors, calling competitors, asking them not to bid on our brand, due to the fact that it really brings up CPCs. And this has resulted in a global CTR of between 60 to 70% on our brand campaigns, which has brought down our CPC price to between 0.07 and 10 Danish øre, which is, you can say, almost nothing, but with the amount of brand traffic we have, it's actually 1 million per month. But then imagine if we didn't consider brand campaigns so important, it could easily be a kroner for a brand click. We'll be paying 10 million kroner per month, and that's a really big chunk of the total marketing budget. So we're really spending a lot of time on digging into our brand campaigns. A bit about the granularity on the other stuff that we're doing. Flight generics, pretty simple stuff. When I'm talking about flight campaigns right now, I'm actually only talking about one single keyword, and that's flights or cheap flights. So all of these keyword combinations are only based on flights, basically because that's what we do. We find cheap flights, we compare cheap flights. So the second we start moving into last minute, for instance, conversion rate drops and we can't really have the same strategy. It doesn't mean that we're not going to go into last minute, but it means that we're not ready to go there yet. With flight alone, we can make 2,000 different variations of this generic keyword, compare cheap flights, find cheap flights, where to find cheap flights. You then take these 2,000 different combinations and you match up with the 10,000 destinations that we support. That gives you a total of 10 million keywords approximately per market just on destinations. You then match this up with city-to-city pairs, saying the 2,000 different variations of Copenhagen to London, London to Kuala Lumpur, Kuala Lumpur to Langkawi, and you end up with 100 million minimum keywords per market. We then do the same for countries. There's luckily not as many countries as there's destinations, and we have this trash can for dynamic search ads. Even though we have a lot of keywords, we have a lot that we're not bidding on as well. So we always just let the dynamic keywords say take the leftover, and eventually we're going to finish with building flight campaigns, and we're going to look into what is the next. Probably we're going to get the inspiration from the dynamic search ads. So in total, we end up with 132 million keyword combinations of flight per market. Globally, there's say 4 billion combinations, and that's only flight. The way we work with this kind of campaigns is we always focus on volume, of course. We focus on the volume through creating all of these destination campaigns, and that's just a never-ending story. We've been doing it manually because we haven't had the right tools to work with APIs yet. We're now getting APIs finally these couple of months actually, so we can start building these billions of keywords in days now, where we had to spend months to build these billions of keywords before. So basically, we build the campaigns in order to get volume up. We then do creative optimization of all new campaigns released. We do that according to when we have enough data for doing it. That's naturally to get the CTR up, to get quality up, to get the CPC down. So that's why you're seeing the CPC curves going down all the time as well. Very simple stuff. Keyword harvesting sounds simple, but it's important as ever, because when you upload all of your new flight campaigns, you are going to get some really interesting keyword combinations that you didn't have before. Upload them, run a second creative optimization process of all the new search terms to get the CTRs up, to focus on quality, getting the CPCs down. Then we'll let bid management take over. We'll let it run until there's enough data for running a second round of optimization. And that's basically the wheel of how we keep focusing on CTR and quality and bringing down the CPCs. So, as I said before, we're only focusing on flight. Just an idea of where we could go in the near future. Last minute, holidays, travel, vacation, that would be another 4 billion keywords per keyword. We have some products we haven't touched upon yet: car hire, package deals, inspiration as well. So as I see it, we are only halfway through building the structure that we actually want. What's really cool about structure is that you can, once you have a good structure, you can use it across channels. Everything that we do on web with the 4 billion keywords, we do on app as well. So it's actually multiplied to app. So when we bid on cheap flights in Denmark on web, we actually have a similar campaign for app that's bidding on the same keyword. Whoever wins is the one that has the highest quality or the best performance in regards to ROI. We have bidding engines to control this. So that's really smart. We don't have to do the same work over again. Even on display, we're using the same strategy. We separate display into separate brand campaigns as well, simply because if there's somebody writing about our brand, which happens all the time, we get a display banner on top, and we actually see the conversion is better than on a traditional generic search campaign. We think relevance through display in the same way as on search as well. We only look at lower funnel activities on display because we don't have to look at upper funnel. It's going to be a couple of years before we have to move into the upper funnel segment. Basically, thinking relevance like on search. So if you take relevance on cheap flights, for instance, well, that's high relevance. That's our product. That's what we do. If you think relevance on display, we think hybrid. So basically, we would only target a user who had been interested in air travel or who had bought an airline ticket within the last half year, who would be on a site about Bangkok, for instance, because then we know it's a guy who likes to fly, who is researching his next holiday, most likely to Bangkok. And we actually see the conversion rates in this segment is equally high as on search. So even on display, we're purchasing at an ROI of -40, hence a payback period of 3 months. And we still have years of building on display before we have to move on to the next segment. So summing up, we have completed 5 years of digital growth, but we have at least 5 more years ahead. Once we have finished our campaign structure that we want to finish eventually, the whole team is not going to stop working. They're going to start to move into creative optimization roles, where we're going to be focusing on optimizing what we have instead. Structure is key to profitable growth. By getting down the CPCs every single year, we can actually buy bigger volumes within the same budget or lower budget every single year. We hope, naturally, we just got acquired by Kayak, that they're going to post more money into us so we can grow even more aggressively. Having the right team to support the structure is evident, because when you have billions of keywords, you need to understand the structure. You need to understand how to find the flight-related keywords, how to find the destination keywords, where do I start with the optimization process, what is the difference between what is search for marketing. It's actually simple stuff, but when you have this many campaigns and keywords, it gets really complicated. And then, of course, always thinking structure across publishers is important. It gives a great overview of what you're doing from a numbers perspective. But as well, it allows you to move your employees between display, search, and app. So there's always a really big flexibility in the workforce. And that's what I brought for you guys today. I hope I made it in 30 minutes. Great.